What's up? This is Jeremiah from Music Society TV, and we're here with Dez of Good Tiger. How's it going, man?
Very well, thank you very much. Yourself?
I'm good. You guys are on tour right now with August Burns Red, Between the Buried and Me, and the Faceless ended up dropping off, unfortunately. And this is your guys' first tour as Good Tiger?
This is our first tour in the US as Good Tiger. We did a UK and Europe run with Periphery and Bed of Maya just at the end of last year. But yeah, this is the first time we've been out in the States, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
You guys formed in 2015 with former members of Tesseract, Architects, The Safety Fire, and The Faceless. What was the reasons for leaving those bands to make this?
I think that there's less of each of us didn't leave those bands to necessarily start this band. It's more of a case that we've all known each other for years through touring and made good friends while we've been in different bands. And it was kind of like when my old band, The Safety Fire, ended, I took the initiative to basically start contacting people and asking, you know, who would be interested in starting a new band, and thankfully the first people that I asked said yes. So everyone was in a position where they could be in a new band, and I think like some of the members before have been in bands which had been like already developed by the time they joined. So I think that like being part of something from the very beginning was something that everyone was really excited about, and kind of being able to build the band in the way that we wanted to do it as a team of 5 people. So I think that's kind of how everything came together, more so than like none of us left the other bands being like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go and do this new one. We were just all in a position where we had been available to do other things, so that's kind of where it started.
You guys announced the Band of the World through a crowdfunding campaign that ended up raising $45,000. Did you guys think you would raise that much?
No, not at all. Like when we had talked about it beforehand, we were very much the idea that asking for 16, which was our initial goal, was going to be a stretch. Like we weren't confident in any kind of way at all, and had no idea of what could potentially happen with that situation. And it was very much just kind of like, all right, let's just give it a go. Like that was the kind of attitude by the end of it. So I remember when we first launched it, I couldn't even look at the numbers because I just didn't want to know, because I was so scared of how things were going to go. And then yeah, like after the first 6 hours or so, I was getting like messages from people like, have you checked it yet? And then I did, and I was like, oh wow, like yeah, all of us were completely humbled by that experience. It was awesome.
You guys self-released an album back in November of 2015 called A Head Full of Moonlight. What does that name mean?
It's in reference to one of the lyrics from the song Latchkey Kids, and it's kind of like a look, I suppose, at like one's desires to kind of go beyond like the earthly realm, as it were, and that can be looked upon in different ways, from like actually space traveling, that's not really it, but like in terms of like just having like ideas above our station, in the sense that you have aspirations, you want to do certain things, and it's kind of like having that desire and that interest in the first place to try and reach those goals. I think that's kind of like a summary of what it kind of means.
Is there any kind of album theme between the album or the songs?
I think that each song has its own kind of character in terms of what it's trying to deal with. I think, like generally speaking, that most of the things are kind of like somewhat otherworldly, like some kind of like it's not like just a story about someone's real life necessarily, but it has like these metaphors and kind of like imagery which kind of have slightly, like they're not, none of the songs are like sci-fi. It's not that kind of feeling, but it's just more like maybe supernatural, or like ideas in terms of like storytelling, where you're kind of like explaining an emotion through this kind of like device of, like, for example, the song All Our Own Teeth is like about this guy trying to make a perfect woman out of glass, or that kind of idea. So it's more open to interpretation than like a very direct line of lyric, or like kind of like lyrical theme.
What are your favorite songs off that album?
Latchkey Kids is definitely one of them. I think that Aspirations and Where Are the Birds purely in terms of like playing live, they're really, really fun to play and kind of have like the chance to jump around a little bit more than some of the other ones, just because of like the tempo and stuff like that. So yeah.
Where did you guys come up with the Good Tiger name?
The name was pretty much just kind of like, I think it's like every band, you need a name, you have to get something, and we just felt it kind of like suited us in the sense that, you know, while we can maybe appeal to like metal and rock fans, it's not necessarily just like that kind of like closed off. So I think the name allows us to have like a slightly wider chance of someone listening to the band in the first place. It's like, it's not such like an aggressive name or a metally name or whatever, which someone would be like, I don't want to listen to that, I already know that I'm not going to like it. So I hope that the name, when people hear it, are kind of like, oh, what do they sound like, rather than thinking anything else beforehand.
What's the tour life like for you guys?
Drinking a lot of coffee, sleeping very little, and going from very nice weather like it is today to extreme wind, rain, and cold. So it's just, yeah, it's the constant. Every day is very, very different, and you know, we just take it each day as it comes. Try and get good coffee and good food while we can in each area that we go to, and just enjoy what we can in terms of free time and stuff like that. And obviously the shows are awesome and pretty much, you know, the reason why we're here and doing what we do. And it's just kind of cool to meet all these different people in different cities that come out to kind of hear what we do. We're very appreciative of that as well. So, yeah.
Who are some bands that you look up to?
Deftones. I mean, there's a lot of bands which I would say musically wouldn't necessarily be the same. Like, I wouldn't say we'd sound that similar to Deftones, for example, but something I aspire to be in terms of like the longevity of their career, how honest they are to themselves as opposed with what they do musically, and the fact that they can pretty much go anywhere in the world and play a show is pretty damn cool in my eyes. So yeah, Deftones definitely one. Mastodon, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, anyone with like a long kind of like lasting career which has kind of spanned over many years in different genres and stuff like that. I think that's definitely something that I personally anyway like admire in other bands.
What's the best and worst part of touring?
Best part is playing shows, and the worst part is being away from your you know, creature comforts like your bed, or just the fact that you don't have to be in a new place every day when you don't want to be, like in terms of just like if you are really tired, then sometimes it can be tough, but I think that stuff you kind of get used to after a while. You get into a rhythm of it, and then when you do get back home, you're like, when's loading, or you know, when's sound check going to happen, and then yeah, the routine becomes normal, and then vice versa. But yeah, it's all bearable.
Last one: Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, or Hillary Clinton?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. Is there any reason why?
Because he is not a cunt.
Fair enough. This has been Jeremiah with Music Star TV with Good Tiger, signing out.